December 1989, Kensington Palace. 11 to 47 p.m., Diana stood at her bedroom window watching the rain. She'd been standing there for 2 hours, not moving, barely breathing. Just watching the rain and thinking about leaving. That day had been hell. Charles and Camilla. Always Charles and Camilla. Diana had found another phone bill, 17 calls, all to the same Wiltshire number, all longer than 30 minutes. Her husband spent more time talking to his mistress than he spent in the same room as his wife. Diana confronted him at dinner, in front of staff, in front of witnesses. She didn't care anymore. 17 calls, Charles. 17. Charles barely looked up from his plate. Diana, not this again. Not this again? You're having an affair and I'm supposed to pretend it's not happening? You're being hysterical. I'm being honest, something you've never been capable of. Charles stood up, walked out, left Diana sitting there, alone, at the table set for two, with staff pretending they hadn't heard every word. Diana went to her room after that, locked the door, sat by the window, and started planning her escape. She couldn't do this anymore. Couldn't wake up every day in a marriage that was a lie. Couldn't smile for cameras while dying inside. Couldn't be the perfect princess when her husband loved someone else. She had to leave. Tonight. By midnight, Diana had made her decision. She put on her long wool coat, navy blue. Simple, nothing fancy, no jewelry, no makeup, no pretense. Just Diana. Finally, just Diana. She picked up her car keys from the dresser, left her purse, left her wallet, left everything. She didn't need anything. She just needed to go. Diana opened her bedroom door quietly. The hallway was dark, silent. Everyone was asleep. The night staff were in their quarters. Security was doing rounds outside. This was her chance. Maybe her only chance. Diana walked down the corridor. Her footsteps made no sound on the thick carpet. Past the paintings of ancestors who'd also been trapped in loveless royal marriages. Past the closed doors of rooms where staff slept. Past William's nursery where her 2-year-old son was sleeping. Diana paused outside his door, put her hand on it. Almost went in. But she couldn't. If she looked at William, she wouldn't be able to leave. And she had to leave. Before she lost herself completely. Diana reached the main entrance, the grand door that led to freedom, to her car, to escape, to a life that was hers. She reached for the handle and a voice spoke from the shadows. Your Royal Highness. Diana froze, turned slowly. An elderly woman stepped into the dim light. Mrs. Eleanor Hayes. She was 73 years old, had worked at the palace for 40 years, started as a kitchen maid in 1949, worked her way up to senior housekeeper. She'd been there when Diana arrived as a bride in 1981, had watched her transform from a hopeful girl to a broken woman. Mrs. Hayes was holding a cup of tea, steam rising in the cold hallway. I thought you might need this before you go, she said quietly. Diana stared at her. How did you know? I've worked here 40 years, ma'am. I know when someone is planning to leave. Mrs. Hayes set the tea on the entry table. I also know you haven't eaten since breakfast. Diana looked at this woman, this kind, weathered face, the only person in the palace who'd ever shown her genuine warmth, who'd brought her tea when she was crying, who'd sat with her when she was alone, who'd never judged, never reported, never betrayed. I can't stay, Mrs. Hayes, Diana whispered. I know. I can't do this anymore. I know. He doesn't love me. He never loved me. I know that too, ma'am. Diana felt tears coming. Then you understand why I have to go. Mrs. Hayes nodded slowly. I understand why you want to go. But Your Royal Highness? She stepped closer, put a gentle hand on Diana's arm. If you leave like this in the middle of the night with nothing but your car keys, you can never come back. I don't want to come back. Not now, but someday you might. Diana shook her head. Never. I'll never want to come back here. Mrs. Hayes looked at her with infinite sadness. Your Royal Highness, I've known you since you were 19 years old. I watched you arrive here full of hope. I've watched that hope die a little more every day. Then you know I have to leave. What I know is that you're running, just like you ran from your father's house when your mother left. Diana felt like she'd been slapped. How do you know about that? Your mother, Frances, and I knew each other years ago, before the divorce. She told me about the day she left, about you standing at the window watching her drive away. Diana's hands were shaking. Don't. You were 6 years old. She left you behind. And you've been running ever since. That's not fair. You ran into this marriage thinking Charles would save you, fill the hole your mother left. But he can't. No one can. Tears were streaming down Diana's face now. Then what am I supposed to do? Stay here and die slowly? Mrs. Hayes squeezed her arm gently. I'm not saying stay, and I'm not saying go. I'm saying that running away in the middle of the night won't heal what's broken inside you. Nothing will heal what's broken inside me. Maybe not, but leaving like this, it won't give you peace. It'll just give you different pain. Diana looked at the door, at freedom, at escape, then back at Mrs. Hayes, at this woman who'd shown her more maternal love than anyone since her mother left. What do you think I should do? Diana asked quietly. I think you should come have tea with me. Warm up, think clearly. And then you decide. But not while you're standing in a cold hallway in the middle of the night running from ghosts. Diana hesitated. The car keys felt heavy in her hand. Mrs. Hayes picked up the teacup, held it out. Please, ma'am, just tea. Then if you still want to go, I'll open the door for you myself. Diana looked at the door one more time, then took the tea. Her hands were shaking so badly the cup rattled. Mrs. Hayes led her to a small sitting room off the main hall. Staff quarters, warm, cozy, real. Not the cold, formal perfection of the royal apartments. Diana sat on an old sofa. Mrs. Hayes sat across from her. They were quiet for a long time. Finally, Diana spoke. How do you do it? Stay in a place that makes you unhappy? Who says I'm unhappy? You work for them, for the people who are destroying me. Mrs. Hayes smiled sadly. I work for the palace, but I serve the people in it. There's a difference. I don't understand. I've seen 5 decades of royals come and go. Happy ones, miserable ones, strong ones, broken ones. The palace doesn't care which you are. It just keeps going. But the people inside, they matter to me. Why do you care about me? Because you remind me of my daughter. Diana looked up surprised. You have a daughter? Had. She died 30 years ago. Car accident. She was 21. I'm so sorry. She was like you, beautiful, sensitive, desperately seeking love she never felt she deserved. Diana felt fresh tears. Did she find it? No. She died still searching. The weight of that hung in the air. That's why I stayed that night. Mrs. Hayes continued warm. When I heard you in the hallway, I knew you were about to make the same mistake my daughter made. What mistake? Believing that running away from pain is the same as healing from it. Diana set down her teacup. So what do I do? Stay in this marriage that's killing me? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But I do know this. Your mother ran from your father's house, left you behind, and it destroyed you. If you run from this house tonight, leave William behind. It will destroy him too. Diana's breath caught. I would never, not intentionally, but he's 2 years old. If you disappear in the night, that's what he'll remember. Not your reasons, not your pain, just that Mummy left and didn't come back. I can't stay for him. I can't. I'm not asking you to stay. I'm asking you to think about how you leave. If you leave... Diana put her head in her hands. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know who I am. I'm Princess Diana, but I don't know who Diana is. Mrs. Hayes moved to sit beside her, put an arm around her shoulders. You're a woman who's been hurt. By your mother. By your husband. By this institution. But you're also a mother. And you have a choice about what kind of mother you'll be. What if I can't be a good mother? What if I'm too broken? We're all broken, ma'am. The question is whether we let our brokenness break others, or whether we use it to understand their pain. Diana leaned into this woman's embrace. This stranger who felt more like family than anyone in the palace. I miss my mother, Diana whispered. After all these years, I still miss her. I know. She left me, just left, like I didn't matter. You mattered. You still matter. Her leaving wasn't about you. It was about her pain. Just like tonight isn't really about Charles. Then what's it about? It's about that 6-year-old girl who's still waiting for her mother to come back, who's still trying to be good enough so people will stay. Diana cried then. Really cried. For the first time in months, all the pain she'd been holding in, all the rejection, all the loneliness, all the desperate need to be loved. Mrs. Hayes held her, didn't tell her to stop, didn't tell her to be strong, just held her, like a mother should. After a long time, Diana pulled away, wiped her eyes. I should go back to my room. Are you still planning to leave? Diana looked at her car keys, still in her hand. I don't know, maybe not tonight. That's wise. But someday I have to leave this marriage. Perhaps. But when you do it in daylight. Do it with planning. Do it in a way that protects William. Don't run in the night like your mother did. Diana nodded, stood up. Mrs. Hayes stood too. Thank you, Diana said, for the tea, for everything. Anytime, ma'am. My door's always open. Diana walked to the doorway, then turned back. Mrs. Hayes, what was your daughter's name? Diana. The princess felt her breath catch. Her name was Diana? Yes, Diana Margaret Hayes. That's why I noticed you the day you arrived. Same name, same lost look in your eyes, same desperate need to be loved. Did you tell me all this because of her? I told you because I couldn't save my Diana, but maybe I can help you save yourself. Diana walked back, hugged this woman, this stranger who'd shown her more love in one conversation than she'd felt in years. I'm so sorry about your daughter. Me too. Every day. They stood there for a moment. Two women, two Dianas, two stories of pain. Then Diana left, went back to her room, took off her coat, put the car keys back on the dresser, and climbed into bed. That night, Diana didn't leave, but something changed. She understood something she hadn't before. Running away in the night wouldn't save her, wouldn't heal the wound from age 6, wouldn't make her feel whole. If she was going to leave, she had to do it right, in daylight, with planning, with dignity. Not like her mother, never like her mother. 3 months later, William was born. Diana held her son and made a promise. She would never leave him the way her mother left her, never disappear in the night, never make him wonder if he was enough. Whatever she did, however she left, it would be done right. It took 3 more years. But in 1992, Diana and Charles officially separated. Not in the middle of the night. In daylight, with lawyers, with planning. The way Mrs. Hayes had advised. The right way. Mrs. Hayes retired in 1995. She was 79 years old. Had given 50 years to the palace. Diana visited her in her small cottage in Windsor. Brought tea, brought flowers, brought gratitude. I never thanked you properly, Diana said, for that night. No thanks needed, ma'am. You saved my life that night. I just gave you tea. You gave me perspective. You stopped me from making a terrible mistake. Mrs. Hayes smiled. You would have figured it out eventually. Maybe. But you helped me see that I didn't have to be like my mother, that I could choose differently. And you did. You stayed for William. You left with dignity. You're a good mother. Diana's eyes filled with tears. I try. Every day I try not to repeat my mother's mistakes. That's all any of us can do. When Diana died in 1997, Mrs. Hayes was 81. She watched the funeral on television, watched William and Harry walk behind their mother's coffin, and she cried. But she also felt something else. Relief. Relief that Diana had stayed that night in 1989, that she hadn't run away in the dark, that William and Harry had 8 more years with their mother. 8 years they wouldn't have had if Diana had walked out that door. Mrs. Hayes died in 2003. She was 87 years old. At her funeral, there were flowers from Prince William. The card read, "Thank you for the night you gave us back our mother. We never knew, but we know now. With gratitude, William." Somehow he'd learned the story. Somehow he'd understood. That December night in 1989 changed everything. Not because Diana stayed in her marriage, but because she chose to stay for the right reasons, and leave for the right reasons. Instead of running from pain like her mother had, she faced it, planned, protected her children, and when she finally left, she did it in daylight, with dignity, with her sons safe, the way a mother should. The night Diana tried to leave was the night she learned to stay. Not forever, but long enough to do it right. Long enough to be the mother her own mother never was. Long enough to break the cycle, and that made all the difference.